Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor and today I'm going to be teaching you how to make this granny square balaclava. Well, I know balaclavas kind of had their moment in the cultural zeitgeist a couple years ago. I'm bringing them back because I live in Minnesota. It gets so cold here, and I did make quite a few of these for a local market and they did super well. So they take no time at all. Great market item. So I'm going to show you how I make them. So this is using the Red Heart Granny Square all-in-one yarn. You don't have to use that yarn. You just have to make, 8 granny squares. And so to do that, you're actually going to make the granny square, and then I always do an extra row. So I have all my prepped squares here and then one more that we're going to do together. And so what you're going to need is your 8 granny squares, and they're going to be all 6-row granny squares. So instead of the 5, which is what the squares are when you buy them in the skein. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I add another row, so it's 6. So you're gonna need the accompanying color. This is the colorway Warm and then Aran. So I have the Aran colorway here. And let's just get started. Don't forget to save this video to your playlist and like the video and subscribe to the channel for more tutorials like this. So you're going to take a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, or whatever crochet hook works for you in these granny squares. I know some people it works if you go half up or half down, a millimeter. So some people use a 5, some people use a 6. The 5.5 works for me, so that's what we're going to be using. And so we're coming up on the end of our granny square here. So I'm going to double crochet 1, and then this is where, my yarn ended for that granny square. So I'm just going to attach my Aran colorway. Snip those 2 ends. And then I'm going to chain 2. Complete that round of the granny square, and then I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to single crochet stack. So you chain 1 and then you insert into the chain space here. So insert, pull up a loop, and then single crochet, and then you're going to do that again. So you insert your hook into this 3rd loop here, so 1, 2, 3, and then you pull up a loop and then pull through. So now you have a stacked single crochet, and then you're going to double crochet 2 more into that corner space, and then you're just going to double crochet 3 into each chain space all the way around. So instead of 5 rows of 5 rows of the granny square stitch, you're just going to have 6 for this pattern. And you don't have to use the Aran. You can, use whatever color you want. You also don't have to make granny squares using the Red Heart Granny Square yarn. You can make granny squares with whatever you want, but they have to be a 6x6 granny square for this tutorial. All right, and so you're just going to, make your round and then snip off with enough to weave in the ends, and then I will come back when we're ready to assemble them. Okay, and as I mentioned before, you're going to need 8 granny squares. So I have my 8 here. All of my ends are woven in, so just a reminder to weave your ends in now, then you'll have less to weave in later. So to start this, we're going to start with just 2 of the granny squares, and we're going to single crochet up the side. So it doesn't really matter, just as long as we're crocheting two together right now. So what I do is I like to pinch at the chain two corners here, and then I take my yarn, make a slip knot, my hook, put it on, and then I insert through the chain two space on the first one and then the second one. Also make sure the wrong sides are together, so the right sides are the ones with all the loops and then the wrong sides are the ones that look like knots. So just attach our yarn, and then I always like to put my scrap yarn over and crochet over it. That's just one less end to weave in. And then you're just going to start single crocheting. So in the top and the bottom, top, bottom. And I don't chain in between my granny squares, as you'll notice. I find that that is just what I like. I think granny squares are very personal to everyone, so however you like to do your granny squares, do them that way. And then, you know, just attach them with some single crochets here. Then I always like to pull a little bit, make sure that that yarn is nice and secure underneath, and then I'm going to take my scissors and just snip off that excess there. Throw that away. And then we're just going to keep going. All right, and we're at the end of this first seam here, so we're going to place one more single crochet into the chain two space of each square. And so there is your first connecting, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to connect the next one, take another square, connect the next one across the top here. So we take it, line it up with the square on the left here, and then you're not going to chain at all. You're just going to insert another single crochet into the chain two space of the square you were just working on, and then of the one you're attaching. Single crochet, and then you just single crochet across. And then we're coming up on the end, place one more double or single crochet in the chain two space of each square. And so now we have three squares attached. We're kind of looking like this. And so we're going to keep going. These next two are going to be the back of the balaclava. So you're going to take two squares, pinch those ends together where the chain two spaces are, so here and here. And then you're just going to keep going with the single crochets. You're just going to single crochet. And now they're connected, and you're just going to keep going. Okay, so that's 2 more that are attached, and then we're going to do the same exact thing 1 more time. So we got our 2 more squares here, and again, just in the chain 2 spots of each of them, we're just going to place a single crochet to attach them to this working line here. All right, and now we're on the last one. So 1 more single crochet in those chain 2 spaces. And then we're going to connect this into a round. So what you're going to do is kind of just pick them up, and we're going to connect this square here to our first square. This is what we have going on here for the shape. So we have the back of the balaclava, and then we have one side and then the other side underneath there. And then this square here is going to be the front. And so we're going to pinch these 2 together, place a single crochet into that chain 2 spot right there in the first one and then the second one, and just single crochet downward. All right, and coming up on the end here, 1 last single crochet in the chain 2 spaces, chain 1, and then you're actually going to cut your yarn here. And so this is just the first pass through for connecting the squares. So now what we're going to do is do the sides here and attach our 8th square. So at this point we have 7 squares attached, and now we're going to attach the 8th one. So remember, here's kind of what the shape looks like. And so we're going to pinch these 2 corners right here, and the ones up here go like this, and we're just going to single crochet right here. So grab your yarn, slip knot, attach it to the hook, your 2 chain 2 spaces here, and then start single crocheting, and don't forget to single crochet over your waste yarn so that you have less ends to weave in. All right, so you did the one side, and now we just have to attach our 8th square here. And so to do that, you're just going to line up the 2 ends here, insert through 1, insert 2, and just single crochet them together and across. Alrighty, and now that top square is secure, and we're going to go down the other side. So again, so not this top one, but the back one, you're going to put the two ends together and just single crochet down. So for this, I think you kind of get it. I'm gonna come back to you when we're down at the bottom here. When you get done, don't cut your yarn yet. We're gonna do one more thing before we cut off our yarn. So do this seam and then come back. Okay, so we're coming up on the end here, so just those last few single crochets. And then what you're going to do, since now you have all of the bottom like connected here, is you're just going to pivot. You're not going to chain, you're just going to pivot and start single crocheting into each of the chain spaces here. Or yeah, on top of all your other ones. You're just going to single crochet all the way around, and this is just going to give it a nice like finishing edge to the project. This is just something to make it look a little bit more polished, especially if you're wanting to sell these at markets. It just gives it a really nice look to it. So you're just going to crochet one single crochet into each space. See how that's looking? And then when you get to the end of the granny square, put one single crochet into that chain two space, and then just put one single crochet into the next chain two space and keep going. All right, again, just one in that chain two space, and then this is where we cut off our yarn from earlier. So what I'm going to do is actually single crochet over that, so then I have one less end to weave in. All right, and we're coming back to the beginning here, so just a few last single crochets, and then you're just going to slip stitch into that first one that we did at the beginning, and then chain one, and then cut your yarn with enough to weave in. Pull through, and there's the bottom. So here's what we're looking like right now. This is the top square, so we're going to need to attach that on both sides, and then it'll look like a real balaclava. So let's get started. So to attach this, you're just going to pinch at the chain two spot here, make a slip knot in your yarn, attach it to your hook, stick your hook into the chain two space on 1, 2, and then single crochet and single crochet over your waste yarn so you have less ends to weave in. And then when you get to the end of your square here, don't cut off your yarn yet. So one last single crochet in the chain 2 spaces, and then we're going to single crochet across the top here to get to the other side. So I always place one single crochet into the chain 2 space alone. So we did one to connect them, and then we do one alone, and then we just single crochet across. All right, so at the end, you're going to place one single crochet into that chain 2 space, and then pick up your other square here that we're going to be attaching, and then place another single crochet into both of them this time. So you just did one in this one, but now you're going to do 1, 2, and attach them, and then just one single crochet in each space now to attach them. All right, and then one last single crochet in that chain 2 space, chain 1, and then cut off with enough end to weave in. So the final thing that you're going to do before we weave in our ends here is you're going to single crochet around the opening, like the face opening of the balaclava. So slip knot, attach it, and so the way you're going to attach this yarn is you're actually going to slip stitch into, so see how it's like these ones attach and then you had this one, so you're going to slip stitch into that one actually, so that it looks more continuous, so it looks like it was done all in one, and then you're just going to start single crocheting down the line and crocheting over your waste yarn so that you don't have to weave it in at the end. All right, and as you come up to this corner here, so you're going to place one single crochet in that first chain 2 space, and then you're going to place a single crochet into this chain 2 space. A lot of the time I end up crocheting into somewhere around here, so I'm just going to go into that one, and then we're going to single crochet into this other chain 2 space here. So just kind of leads around, and then we're going to keep on single crocheting across the bottom of the face opening here. All right, and again, one single crochet in the first chain 2 space, one single crochet into this square here, and then one single crochet into our final square on the side of the face here. All right, and just a few more single crochets here. Remember to place one last one in that chain 2 spot here, and then we're actually going to slip stitch into this single crochet right here, chain 1, and then cut your yarn with enough to weave in. So see how that just kind of creates a nice finished edge there. So now weave in your ends, and I will meet you again when you're done with that. And that is your finished balaclava. Don't forget to let me know in the comments down below what colorway you're going to be making your balaclava in. I know that it looks like a little bit choppy, a little boxy, but I think that just like adds to it, honestly. They're super cute. They're gonna keep you so warm, and it's nice and oversized to where if you wanted to wear like a beanie underneath, or if you were wearing like a hoodie and like layering and stuff. It gets so cold here in the winter time, so you gotta make sure that you stay warm. So thank you so much for watching and following along with me today. Don't forget to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!